Ironically, most of the world's wine regions seem to be based in earthquake-prone areas, and New Zealand's no exception to that. It's a constant threat, and Marlborough's been hit by two very significant earthquakes that have hit the wine industry, very hard. As a structural engineer, I'd long been concerned about the risk that earthquakes pose to wine tanks. In August 2013, there was an earthquake based in Seddon, just south of the Marlborough wine region. I personally was having lunch at the time with some winery friends and clients, just about a mile from here. When I got to one of the wineries with Gareth, a good friend of mine and a good client, and found, to my absolute shock, that many, many tanks had ruptured. We knew we had to do something, didn't we? And that's ultimately what formed the idea of Onguard, just standing here next to you, thinking that something needs to be done.
Yeah. So we got to use them in the 16 earthquake, which was much more frightening. Anybody who says they weren't scared in that is either a fool or a liar.
The feeling I had when I saw what had occurred in this particular winery was one of, I guess, initially helplessness, because there's nothing you can do to put the wine back in the tank. I realised that something had to be done in a very short space of time before harvest to make sure that the wineries were fully equipped to withstand any future events. So in developing the Onguard system, we did test the ductile anchors in the lab, and we found that they did perform exactly as we'd hoped. However, we'd never actually done a real-life test of the entire system on a wine tank. Then, of course, in November 2016, we had a 7.8 magnitude earthquake that struck just south of this region. There were about 300 tanks in Marlborough with the Onguard system on them at around probably 6 or 7 different wineries. We found that in 100% of the cases, the system had worked perfectly. Pretty much everything else that was not Onguard has some serious, significant issues structurally within the tanks. It became clear that not only did we have a product and a system that was tested in the lab, but was also proven in a very significant earthquake. I'd always thought, even before the 2013 Kaikoura earthquake, that the design guidelines that people use to design tanks fell short of what I considered to be appropriate. Certainly going to California cemented that thought. The reception for me and Onguard was outstanding. Everybody that I spoke to, from engineers to insurers to wineries to tank manufacturers, everybody recognised that Onguard was actually a bit of a game changer. I realised at that point that what I'd actually created with Onguard was indeed a world first. The Onguard system is specifically engineered for each tank and each site. So as engineers, we need to know the seismicity of where the tank's going to go to be able to specify the system correctly. It's also very flexible. It can be installed on new tanks at the time of manufacture, or it can be retrofitted to tanks that might pose an unacceptable earthquake risk. That's certainly been the case in California. They have an awful lot of old tanks that might be 20, 30, 40 years old. We're able to retrofit the system to those tanks and provide that resilience that the winemakers and the winery owners are looking for in an earthquake.